Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're journeying to a place where history refuses to stay buried, a place where the echoes of the past are not just heard, but seen. We're talking about the plains of Cailan's Folly, a vast, windswept expanse that holds a chilling secret. By day, it's a somber but peaceful landscape. Rolling hills are dotted with ancient stones and memorials, silent witnesses to a battle that raged here over 1,000 years ago. Historians tell us it was a brutal, decisive conflict. The army of King Alaric made its final, desperate stand against the invading legions of the Shadow Empire. They fought with unmatched bravery, but by sunset, the entire army, including the king himself, had been wiped out. The fields were soaked in blood, and the land fell silent. But this silence, as locals will warn you, is deceptive. It's a silence that holds its breath, waiting for a specific celestial cue: the blood moon. Imagine this: a full moon, hanging low and heavy in the sky, dyed a deep, unsettling crimson. When this happens, something extraordinary and terrifying occurs at Cailan's Folly. The silence is broken. It starts subtly, a faint rhythmic thumping that seems to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. It's the sound of a distant war drum. As the moon climbs higher, the drumming grows louder, more insistent, a heartbeat for an army long dead. And then they appear. From the mists that creep across the valley floor, spectral figures begin to rise, transparent, shimmering forms of soldiers, clad in 1,000-year-old armor. They emerge from the very earth they fell upon, their ghostly hands gripping the hilts of ethereal swords and the shafts of phantom spears. They are the lost army of King Alaric. They don't wander aimlessly like typical spirits. They form up, rank by rank, line by line. They fall into perfect military formation, their movements precise and synchronized. The air grows cold, thick with an unspoken discipline. At the head of this spectral host, a taller, more imposing figure materializes. He wears a crown of faint light, his form radiating a silent, sorrowful authority. It is King Alaric himself, risen to lead his men one more time. For centuries, this phenomenon has been the stuff of local legend. People who live near the battlefield lock their doors and shutter their windows on the nights of a blood moon. They speak of the March of the Damned. A few brave or perhaps foolish souls have dared to witness it from a safe distance. Their stories are all unnervingly similar. They describe seeing the entire army, thousands strong, begin to march. Led by their king, they move as one, their silent footfalls leaving no trace on the ground. They march across the battlefield, following the exact route of their final charge. Their spectral faces are said to be a mixture of grim determination and eternal sadness, forever locked in the final moments of their lives. They don't interact with the living world. It's as if they're caught in a temporal loop, a recurring nightmare etched into the very fabric of the landscape. What causes this? Why does the blood moon trigger this ghostly replay? Scholars and paranormal investigators have proposed countless theories. One popular idea is a form of stone tape theory on a massive scale. The theory suggests that the intense emotional energy of the battle, the fear, the courage, the agony of thousands of men dying at once, was somehow imprinted onto the environment itself. The unique astrological and atmospheric conditions of a blood moon might act as a playback mechanism, causing the recorded events to manifest visually and audibly. Another, more mystical explanation comes from local folklore. It is said that a powerful sorcerer fighting with the Shadow Empire cast a curse upon Alaric's army in their final moments. The curse bound their souls to the battlefield, forcing them to reenact their defeat for eternity. Never finding peace, their valor twisted into a perpetual punishment. They are trapped, not by choice but by an ancient, malevolent magic. The blood moon, in this version of the tale, is the key that locks and unlocks their spectral prison. One of the most compelling accounts comes from Dr. Eris Thorne, a historian who spent a decade studying Cailan's Folly. In the 1970s, armed with early model audio equipment and cameras, he set up an observation post during a blood moon. His recordings are legendary. Amidst the static, you can clearly hear the rhythmic drumming he described as shaking the very bones of the earth. While his photographs were grainy and inconclusive, his written testimony is chilling. He wrote, "I did not see ghosts. I saw an army. Their discipline was absolute. I saw their king raise a spectral sword, and a silent, unified cry seemed to rip through the very air. It was not a haunting. It was a memory, alive and breathing. They aren't trying to scare us. They are simply marching, forever marching towards their doom. It is the most profound tragedy I have ever witnessed." Dr. Thorne never returned to the field on a blood moon, claiming that to watch it more than once felt like a deep and unforgivable intrusion. As the blood moon begins its descent, just before the first light of dawn, the spectacle fades. The drumming softens, receding back into the earth. The soldiers halt their march, their forms growing thinner, more transparent. They seem to dissolve back into the morning mist, one by one, until the field is empty once more. King Alaric is always the last to go, casting one final sorrowful look across his domain before vanishing. Silence returns to Caelan's folly. The birds begin to sing, the sun warms the ancient stones, and a visitor arriving at dawn would have no idea of the ghostly parade that had just concluded. There are no footprints, no leftover energy signatures, nothing. The land keeps its secret, holding it tight until the next time the moon turns to blood. The story of Caelan's folly is a powerful reminder that some events are so monumental, so charged with human emotion, that they leave an indelible scar on the world itself. It's a place where time is not a straight line, but a circle, and where a battle fought 1,000 years ago is in some ways still being fought tonight. The fallen soldiers of King Alaric are not just a ghost story. They are a timeless monument to duty and sacrifice, marching forever in the silent theater of memory. What do you think is happening on that field? Is it a scientific phenomenon, a powerful curse, or something else entirely? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the mysterious. If you enjoyed this story, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more tales from the world's most fascinating and unexplained places. Stay curious, and we'll see you in the next one.